Dealers across the country are sitting on rows of shiny baggers they can't move. Road glides, ultras, street glides, all financed on borrowed time. Floor plan clocks ticking, interest stacking, and managers cutting prices they swore they'd never touch. It's not rumor, it's math, and it's spreading fast. Because when the floor gets quiet, real riders finally get loud. Stay tuned. I'll show you which bikes are real gold, which deals are traps, and the exact week this crash turns into your best shot in a decade. The quiet crash. You can feel. The lights hum softly over a row of untouched touring bikes. Their chrome looks perfect from 20 feet away, but step closer and the truth shows itself. Dust sits on the front rotors. The tires have flattened just enough to leave a mark on the tile. One of the tags says Manager Special, written in red ink that's already fading under fluorescent bulbs. These are not trade-ins or showroom props. They are brand new machines that never found a rider. The floor feels heavy, quiet, and nervous. Dealers call it aged inventory. Riders call it unsold iron. Walk into any mid-size Harley or Indian shop. Rows of last year baggers still waiting. Road glides, street glides, ultras. Engines fine, but money weak. Tire shine now masks quiet desperation. For the first time in years, big touring bikes aren't moving like they used to. The average sticker once showed 20,000 or more. Now, the talk in the back office is how low they can go before losing money. You'll see small signs of panic. A salesman offering a free Stage 1 install. Another hinting at corporate incentives if you sign today. The mask slips in the smallest ways. When iron sits, price softens. It's a rule older than finance software. A showroom is supposed to turn metal into paper fast. But when bikes linger, the floor feels wrong, like time itself is rusting. The markdown tags you see, they're not charity. They're warning lights. Every label with a discount means someone, somewhere, is eating the cost to keep the doors open. You can feel it in the silence. No laughter from the service bay, no roar from a test ride outside, just the hum of lights over chrome that isn't moving. The reason those red tags keep spreading isn't emotion or taste. The rate sheet tells the real story. Why managers cut? The dealer debt trap. Every bike on that floor is borrowed time. Dealers don't buy 100 machines outright. They finance them through what insiders call floor planning. The manufacturer ships the bikes, and the dealer pays interest on each one until it sells. When those bikes sit past 90 or 120 days, interest starts eating profit like rust eats chrome. Imagine paying a loan every month for a bike you haven't sold. Add insurance on every VIN, utilities to light the floor, and payroll for staff who can't sell what they don't move. The math turns ugly fast. One aging Road King can cost a few $100s a month just to exist indoors. Multiply that by 50 bikes, and you see why managers start slashing numbers they swore they'd never touch. Then comes the audit clock. Factory reps check serials and deadlines. Miss the threshold, and dealers lose bonuses or allocations. Survival level pain for small towns. That markdown tag isn't kindness. It's pressure. The kind that bends backs and forces signatures. This is the heartbeat of the crash. Not a rumor, not emotion, but math, interest, insurance, and floor time. These are invisible weights pressing down on every piece of unsold metal across America. And the longer the bikes stay still, the harder the numbers bite. For riders, this means leverage. When the clock costs them money, your cash starts looking heroic. Walk in ready to sign, and you're solving a problem they can't hide from. That pressure doesn't hit every bike the same way. It splits the market into two lanes, the inventory mix of new versus pre-owned. If you've seen prices crash like this in your state, drop a comment below. Hit that like button so more riders catch these deals before they disappear completely. Two knives, new versus pre-owned. The modern showroom carries two battles under one roof. On one side, you've got the new machines. Bright paint, 0 miles, still smelling like crate oil. On the other, the pre-owned row. Trade-ins, consignment units, repos, and dealer-certified older models. The problem? Both are bleeding value, but for different reasons. New bikes carry factory financing offers to tempt you. Some brands push low interest rates, others throw in accessory credits or service vouchers. It's their polite way of saying, please take this off our books. Dealers love it because factory money cushions the loss. But there's only so long corporate will keep those deals alive. When the quarter ends, so do the miracles. Used bikes tell the truth. No factory cushion. A 2017 Road Glide, once $15,000, now lists near 11. Middleweights fell from 8 to 5. It's not greed, it's gravity. Prices finally dropping back to reality after years of inflation. Riders have to choose their knife. Do you want the protection of a warranty or the satisfaction of paying cash and riding debt-free? One gives peace of mind, the other gives pride. Both are good blades if you know how to hold them. The key is knowing when each cut goes deepest, because the real edge in this market isn't in the tags or the talk, it's in the clock. And that timeline is what separates a lucky deal from a once-in-a-decade opportunity. Before we keep digging into this crash, quick pit stop. Real riders stay ready. The gear and accessories I actually trust are linked below. Check them out, then let's get back to the floor. The once-in-a-decade window. Ask any veteran rider and they'll tell you, timing beats talent. Right now, timing is everything. The used market is saturated, the new bike shelves are crowded, and the lending rates have scared off casual buyers. That leaves a rare space, the moment when only serious riders are still shopping. It's quiet, uncomfortable, and full of openings. Joe, 63, walked into a Kansas City Harley shop, eyeing a 2018 Ultra that sat a year. Cash in hand, he left with thousands off and gear credit. The manager exhaled. The salesman thanked him twice. Relief, not salesmanship. Stories like that are spreading through rider circles and forums. People are buying smart, buying patient, and walking away with machines that would have cost them twice the pain 2 years ago. For the first time since the last recession, buyers hold the upper hand. But windows like this don't stay open forever. It takes patience, paperwork, and the nerve to walk when the numbers don't make sense. The market is correcting, but correction never lasts long. Once the old stock clears and interest rates settle, the balance tilts again, and the bargains disappear. This moment feels like a flashback to when bikes were bought for love, not status. A time when you could walk in, shake hands, and ride home without the finance office breathing down your neck. It's that rare alignment. Experience meeting opportunity. Inside the dealership, the calendar itself decides who wins and who waits, turning a no into a quiet, grateful yes. Month-end nerves. Walk into any dealership during the last week of the month, and you can feel the tension before you even speak. The smiles are thinner, the handshakes shorter, and behind the counter sits a whiteboard filled with numbers, dates, and small circles drawn in red marker. Each circle means a bike that has sat too long, each a reminder that someone, somewhere, needs it gone. The month-end deadline is starred in the corner like a finish line that keeps moving closer. A canceled demo day note sits just below it, scratched out in frustration. Every 30 days, red circles mark stress points. Managers chase quotas and bonuses, tossing logic aside when short 3 units. Late month afternoons turn impossible prices real. It's not luck, it's timing meeting anxiety, and smart buyers know exactly when to strike. When the clock runs down, the sales floor shifts its tone. Yesterday's confident pitch turns into today's confession. Make me an offer. It's not weakness, it's survival. Managers know that clearing aged stock keeps the lights on, keeps the reps paid, and keeps corporate happy for another month. You can sense it, a dealership running hot, with pressure thick enough to smell like burnt coffee and stress. For riders like you, that's the sweet spot. Walk in calm, prepared, and polite. The storm's already blowing inside their heads. You just need to stand in the right spot when the doors swing open. Those dates don't just mark desperation. They unlock the hidden playbook every manager swears doesn't exist. The price cut playbook. Every manager has a quiet playbook they'll never show you. It's not written in policy, it's built on habit. When gasoline bikes sit too long, they pull one lever after another until the metal finally moves. The first lever is the prior year clearance. They'll call it special pricing, but it's just an older VIN with dust on the rotors. You're not getting a stripped-down machine, just one that missed its first summer of glory. It's the same motorcycle, but the label on the crate says last year instead of this one. When price cuts fail, they bait with accessories, pipes, grips, chrome, backrest kits. It keeps the sticker high, but hides a discount. $1,200 in upgrades, they'll say, while you hand them what they really want, a sold VIN, no markdown recorded. If those tricks fail, out comes the third lever, the trade credit shuffle. They can't cut the new bike price any deeper, but they'll inflate your trade value by a few $100 and quietly write it back on the finance side. It feels like you won, but the math circles right back to the same number. Dealers aren't evil, they're just defending their ledgers. Knowing the playbook lets you control the snap count. The moment you recognize which lever they've pulled, you can decide whether to accept, counter, or walk. They expect you not to notice. Surprise them by staying silent, studying the numbers, and waiting for the next move. The power isn't in the discount, it's in your patience. The numbers might tell one story, but the service bay tells another. Louder, grittier, and impossible to fake. Service bays gone quiet. You can judge the health of a dealership by the noise coming from its shop. In good years, tires, it's constant. Air guns snapping, torque wrenches clicking, engines revving after tune-ups. This year, that rhythm is broken. Step through the door behind the showroom and you'll find empty lifts at midday. Two mechanics stand by a coffee pot instead of a bike. The radio plays, but no one's laughing. Work orders are thin. Tire changes that once stacked 10 deep on Fridays now number 2 or 3. Service keeps dealerships alive. Steady cash when sales stumble. But when bikes stop selling, service starves too. Fewer warranties, fewer accessories, empty shelves, techs heading home early. Without new iron rolling in, the heartbeat of every shop starts skipping faster each week. A quiet shop isn't just lost revenue, it's a red flag. It means the dealership is tightening belts everywhere. Managers start combining roles, pushing techs to help on the floor, or cutting back on hours. Every empty lift represents a paycheck waiting for a bike that never showed up. That silence carries through the walls, to the sales desk, the finance office, and the manager's own nerves. For you, it's another sign of the times. When the shop slows down, the sales team grows hungrier. That's your opening. They need deals to keep everything else alive. A slow service bay makes for a desperate handshake at the front counter. That silence seeps deeper still, straight into the staff roster, where the real toll shows. The human toll. Behind every shiny gas tank and sales pitch, there's a person doing math in their head. Fewer bikes sold means fewer commissions, and fewer commissions mean fear. That's when good employees start disappearing quietly. A sales veteran who's been with the store for 10 years suddenly moves to finance because the last guy quit. Another service writer takes a temporary leave that everyone knows won't end. By the time summer rolls around, the staff that once filled the floor is cut in half. Saturday mornings used to sound like a carnival. Now it's quieter. One cashier instead of 2, one greeter instead of 3, and a single manager trying to juggle 5 roles. They call it streamlining, but riders can feel the difference. Wait times get longer, smiles shorter, and the personal touch starts to slip. It's not laziness, it's exhaustion. These folks are trying to survive the same economic squeeze you are. At a Midwest dealership, salesman Mark was moved from floor to finance. Demo rides for warranty forms. Across America, reorganization masks downsizing. Yet fewer staff mean faster yeses. Tired managers handle finance themselves, cutting deals just to finish the day. Clean offers win approvals. It's not sympathy, it's survival. So when you walk in, don't see empty desks as weakness. See them as opportunity. The fewer hands in the chain, the faster your deal moves from maybe to done. Now it's your move. Time to walk in with a clean, sharp out-the-door target and see who blinks first. Timing the walk-in. Every dealership has its rhythm, and if you learn to read it, you can walk in when the numbers tilt your way. Forget luck. This is about timing, pure and simple. The first window opens near the end of the month. When those whiteboards are full of circles and quotas are close but not met, desperation takes over logic. Walk in between the 27th and the 30th, when the managers are staring at spreadsheets more than customers, and you'll feel the shift the second you shake their hand. The sweet spot is the last day of a promo, usually mid-season, when 0% and Sunday signs fade. Managers panic before corporate resets. Walk in around 4, coffee cold, nerves high. Prices once impossible at noon softened by dinner. That's how smart riders do it. No tricks, no yelling, no bluffing, just awareness. Timing beats smooth talk every time. You're not manipulating anyone. You're showing up when their priorities line up with your wallet. You can't force a deal, but you can wait until one is already half built and ready to fall into your hands. But timing alone won't save you, not unless you back it up with a printed comparison that shows you mean business. Talk like you've done this. There's a reason veterans get respect in the showroom. It's not attitude, it's preparation. The riders who win these deals don't wander in with "what's your best price?" They show up with a printed out the door sheet request and one competing quote. 2 pages of paper beat 2 hours of talking every time. Sit down, meet the salesman's eyes, and say, "I only talk out the door numbers." Slide your printed sheet. Base price, fees, taxes, freight. No wiggle room. Then hand a competing quote, even another brand. That paper flips control. The salesman stops selling and rushes to the manager, knowing you're serious. Keep your words short, your tone even, and your offers clear. You're not there to charm anyone. You're there to trade numbers like an adult. When you speak like you've done this before, the conversation moves from sales pitch to negotiation, and that's where the money lives. But even with clean paperwork, one thing can break the deal faster than anything: the appraisal. If you want the next wave of dealer dump alerts before they're gone, hit subscribe. Real riders, real stories, and the truth behind every markdown, right here every week. Trade-ins on thin ice. If the salesman flinches when you mention a trade, don't take it personally. He's already thinking about how much space that bike will take up in the corner next week. The used market is cold, and dealers are drowning in trade-ins they can't flip. That's why appraisals have dropped across the board. It's not your bike's fault. It's the math behind the market. Book value might claim $9,000, but auctions barely hit $7,000, so dealers lowball to avoid losing another $1,000 in storage. It's not insult, it's survival. Separate the deals, sell privately, bring cash, and prove maintenance. Clean records turn suspicion into respect and strengthen your bargaining position instantly. If the offer still stinks, don't argue. Thank them, step out, and sell it yourself. The buyer's market outside is slow, but private sales still pay closer to book than any dealer can afford. Come back with cash, and suddenly every door reopens. But even cash and paperwork won't protect you if the bike condition itself betrays you before you ride out. The real-world checklist. Before you sign, step away from the showroom lights and look at the machine the old-fashioned way. A 10-minute inspection can save you a year of regret. Start with the tires. Check the date code stamped on the sidewalls. If they're more than 3 years old, they're past their prime, even if the tread looks good. Spin the front wheel and feel for a lip on the rotors. If you catch your nail, they're worn. Move to the fork seals. Any hint of oil film means a leak waiting to happen. Check under the exhaust for heat stains or deep bluing, signs of hard miles. Feel bolts for oil, not grime. Inspect the VIN for untouched rivets and clean records. Stock intake and exhaust mean safe tuning. Aftermarket pipes often hide misfires, ghost codes, or missing factory updates best avoided. This is where real riders earn their savings, with eyes, not ears. Salesmen talk in adjectives. You talk in proof. 10 quiet minutes in the lot can reveal more truth than any sales pitch. And if they rush you, that's a red flag. The honest dealers let you look because they know real metal can defend itself. While you're checking bolts and rotors, remember, out there in the background, the brands themselves are adjusting their allocations and reshaping what comes next. Brands pull back quietly. The numbers aren't screaming yet, but if you know where to look, the truth is clear. Allocations are tightening across the board. Major manufacturers have already trimmed shipments of gasoline bikes by nearly 20% compared to last spring. That's not rumor. That's from internal dealer memos quietly passed around in back offices. The logic is simple. Too much metal on the floor means more interest charges, more risk, and more dealers drowning in debt. So the factories are closing the taps just enough to avoid headlines while they clean up the mess. Before spring, every major brand is dumping prior year gasoline bikes through spring clearance promos, leftovers posing as fresh deals. Harley, Honda, and Indian trim new orders to clear chrome-clogged floors. For buyers, leverage is fleeting. Once warehouse is empty, confidence returns, discounts vanish, and this brief correction window slams shut fast. But not every state is feeling the same pinch, because not every state shares the same pipeline. The regional shuffle. Here's something most riders never hear about: the regional shuffle. When inventory gets stuck, big dealer groups start moving bikes across state lines. A road glide sitting in Tennessee might reappear 2 weeks later in Alabama under a new arrival tag. It's the same VIN, the same machine, just in a different zip code where taxes and demand make it easier to move. Large dealer groups do this constantly: quiet, legal, and effective. One Georgia manager said half his spring stock came from a North Carolina sister store. A short haul, fresh tag, and new sticker price turn old inventory into something that looks new. The smart riders use this to their advantage. Call around. Ask if the model you want exists in a nearby state. Sometimes a short drive saves you thousands because that other store is under heavier pressure to clear space. The bike is the same. The balance sheet isn't. Dealers call it inventory optimization. Riders just call it common sense. So while some states are drowning in unsold metal, others are quietly importing deals from across the border. The whole system is a game of musical chairs played with gasoline tanks and VIN plates. And beneath all the shifting paperwork, something deeper is changing. Not just numbers, but identity. Because underneath all these transfers and clearances, the riding culture itself is starting to shift. Culture at a crossroads. The numbers tell one story, but the parking lots tell another. The average age of a rider today hovers well past 50. New licenses are fewer every year. Rallies are thinning. and yet the pride remains unbroken. You can see it in the old hands who still show up to ride rain or shine. Men and women who've logged iron butt miles across states, who remember when a saddle sore was a badge of honor, not a complaint. They miss the 90s simplicity, touring bikes built for comfort, not corporate flair. They remember two-strokes that screamed alive and engines fixed with wrenches, not code. Today's low-profile tires and showroom fairings remind them how far motorcycles have drifted from real roads. But even with fewer new faces joining the ranks, the heart of this culture beats steady. It's in every handshake at a gas stop, every roadside assist between strangers, every grizzled veteran who still tunes his carburetor by ear. The industry may tighten its numbers, but the soul of motorcycling doesn't bow that easily. The culture is at a crossroads, yes, but it's not dying. It's waiting for the next machine worthy of carrying its flag forward. And that brings us to what's next, the outlook for the next few seasons, when this storm finally clears, the road ahead. This clearance phase won't last forever. It never does. The cycle is predictable. Inventory piles up, prices drop, buyers rush in, and then supply tightens again. By late next year, the overhang will be gone, and what's left on the floors will command firm numbers again. Dealers will stop begging for offers, and the manager specials will fade like summer heat. The bargains we're seeing now are the natural purge of a system that got too greedy for too long. Once the warehouse is clear, manufacturers will use the breathing room to reset. Expect smaller production runs, fewer color options, and a tighter focus on models that move. That means no more wild discounts on heavy tourers or cruisers. The bikes that survive this shakeout will be the ones with steady demand, machines that appeal to riders who still rack up miles, not those chasing trends. For riders who waited, this is the clean window. The correction rewarding patience. Buy the bike you truly want, not leftover stock. Take the deal with respect, not greed. These shops are built by hands that still love real gasoline engines. When the dust settles, the balance returns. The crash fades into memory, and the next wave begins. The miles ahead may cost more, but they'll mean more too. Miles built this culture. Let the numbers pay you back for once. None needed. The road itself carries the last word. The market's shifting fast, and the riders who move smart will come out ahead. Don't chase hype, chase value. These markdowns won't last, but the miles you'll ride will. Subscribe, stay sharp, and remember, real riders don't wait for permission. They ride when the road calls.